So let's have a look around the workshop. So obviously this is the workbench. I have a vise attached to the smaller section on the left, and underneath is storage, primarily wood, which gives the table some weight and helps it to stop moving when I'm doing work on it. On the right is the bracket for the camera, or the phone I'm using as a camera. And underneath you can see some of the logs and timber. Generally these are still slightly wet and in the process of drying out. And although it looks like a shed, it's just a covered area of outdoors. It's essentially a frame attached to the shed with a plastic roof. And hung up on the shed wall is some jigs, and as we look around you can see that it is essentially outside. And then the shed, which is I think about a 6 by 8 foot shed, so fairly small. As you can see, it's quite busy, quite full, and there's not an awful lot of room inside it to do any work. Inside the shed you can see basically the whole wall on the left hand side is storage. It's got some furniture, some timber, hand tools, and as we go down, just more timber, and that takes up a substantial part of the shed. And the back wall has the lathe and the lathe turning tools, and there is just enough room here to work at the lathe, but not a great deal more. So as you can see, I've also got a bandsaw, and if you look inside, you can see I've got maybe less than a metre between the lathe and the bandsaw, and to use the bandsaw I have to have the door open to give me enough room to feed timber through the bandsaw without hitting the door of the shed. And these drawers are incredibly useful for tools. I've got a lot of tools throughout them. I find them really handy way of keeping materials where I know where everything is. And then finally, next to the desk outside, I've got some storage, screws, nails, sandpaper, materials, hinges, all that sort of stuff, on an old IKEA bookcase. So what this channel is about using relatively inexpensive tools, along with recycled, reclaimed materials to try and produce something of a good quality. So if you keep watching, see whether we can achieve that in this space. Please subscribe, and I'll see you again next time.